You already know that you are someone who has expertise and skills, whether it's clinical or non clinical, to help someone get a result, solve a problem, create change or transformation in their life. But you are wondering, how do I do this online? How do I monetize this online? And you're watching other people create success and you're wondering, how can I do the exact same thing for my own life with my own skills and expertise? Well, in this video, I'm going to share with you the exact business model that I used to get started in my business that took me from 0 to 5K months and has been the foundation for continued growth and other things that I have created since. Now, there are many different business models out there, and they're working for just about everybody who's willing to take action and consistently put forth the effort to make it work for them. But what I've realized is that not every business model works for everyone. And the reason why some are working for others is based off of lifestyle, it's based off of skill set, and some other nuances when you step into the online space. So I'm going to share with you why I picked this business model, why it's worked for me, because this is something that I used while I was still working full time in my 9 to 5 job. I've been an outpatient physical therapist. And so we're working busy days already. Where do we have time to build a business? Well, that's the exact reason why I picked this business model, was because it was conducive to my time. It was conducive to the lifestyle that I had while I was working. And it also was the fastest path to cash flow and the fastest path for me to be able to walk in my purpose and serve the people who I know that I am able to help. So the many business models that are out there, I want you to recognize that the one I'm sharing with you worked for me, and I'm going to share why it worked for me. And as you look and see other business models out there, it's going to help you better decide what's a best fit. The purpose of this video is to also give you different ways to think about things, because what I had to understand is that the information that I was learning from Instagram and Facebook and watching other business coaches is that they were giving out really great advice, really great strategies. However, based off of where I was specifically in my life and at the beginning of my business, what they were saying did not pertain to me. And one of the reasons why people end up staying stuck in their business and not moving is because they have so many options, but they don't know how that option applies to them. They don't know how to take action. And oftentimes we're trying to take action on something and it's completely out of order. It might be step 5 or 6 when you're still on step 1 and 2. And so in order for certain steps to work, we've got to have a solid foundation to be able to build from. I think we have this skewed image of what business is, as if we just show up and start posting content and people are supposed to buy from us. And it's great that that's how easy it is, but there's so much intentionality behind why we take the actions that we take and how we're taking them. And also understanding from a personality standpoint, how you best work and how you best serve. So I launched this business model in December of 2021. And I got out of a really terrible breakup August of 2021. And I had some time to ponder and think and say to myself, okay, Siobhan, you're really going to go for it. And I don't want you to think that I just popped out and here was this business model, because I got to take you back to September of 2019. It was a Sunday. My aunt had called and said, your grandmother is in the hospital. That Sunday night, I texted my boss and I said, hey, listen, my grandma is in the hospital and she had actually been in there for a couple days. They thought that she was going to be able to have been out by now, but she wasn't, which is why we got alerted and got the call. And he responded and said, okay, no problem. And I said, I booked a flight. My flight was at 6:30 the next morning. My grandma raised me when my mom had a stroke. And so, it didn't occur to me to think anything else other than I got to go. So booked my flight, And from the airport in Atlanta, I went straight to the hospital and was able to be at her bedside. That was Sunday night that I sent the text. Monday morning, I flew out. By Wednesday, because I was a contract physical therapist, my contractor actually sent me a text and said, hey, call me when you get a second. I called him and they had terminated my contract. And he said, you can either fulfill out the 2 weeks that you have left when you get back, because I'd only booked for the entire week. He said, you can fulfill out the 2 weeks. And I said, what's my other option? He said, or you can just choose to not go back. And I said, I choose to not go back. I cannot tell you how my heart sank in that moment, recognizing that one, my income was cut off. There was no warning sign. And it was because I took a step to take care of my family. I chose that priority. And never once did I think that my contract would get terminated. So I was infuriated, but I also saw it as a blessing. I just didn't know what that blessing looked like at the time. So my grandmother finally came home after spending the following week in the hospital. I extended out my time. I never came back to Maryland when my flight was originally planned. And I was being her at home physical therapist in the meantime. And at nighttime, I said to myself, I'm going to put into a course the things I know that has already changed and shifted my life. I had been on a journey, a spiritual journey, a personal development journey. And I said, I've got some things that could really help a lot of people. And I was going to make a course. And I didn't have any particular training. I had been kind of playing around with the coaching industry and it was really understanding, oh, this coaching thing is really big. And it was very appealing to me. And the people I'd spoken with, it felt like it was bringing them a lot of purpose. And I started to really gravitate towards that. And so it was September that all of this happened. And by October, I had launched my first 2-week course. It was called Claim Your Shift, Manifest Your Vision. I had made a couple of posts online, and those couple of posts turned into 8 people signing up for this 2-week course. And it was $97. And I said, wow, you can make money really fast. And I wasn't the best marketer. I wasn't the best communicator. I just knew that I had a way of helping people because I had already helped myself. I was a part of a network marketing company, which I still am. And I was coaching my team. So I had already known that there were ways that what I was coaching on for myself and what I was helping other people to do, that I could help people get results. And so I launched this 2-week course. 8 people joined for $97. And one gal upgraded. And by upgraded, I mean, she came to me and said, hey, I'd like to work with you a little bit closer, and asked what else she could buy from me. I had nothing else she could buy. I didn't think this through. I just wanted to launch this thing. Well, I ended up putting something together and I charged her $1,997 to work together for 3 months. She paid me and I had my first paying coaching client. This was October of 2019. And I thought to myself, whoa, like how cool is that? I'm onto something here. Well, nothing happened with that business at the time. Nothing continued to really go on. I really focused on building my network marketing company at the time, but I had been coaching people for free after that, testing out some different things. And I said to myself, I really think I want to get going on this coaching thing. Well, we all know what happened in 2020 and then going into 2021. And when that breakup happened in August of 2021, I said to myself, things have to change. December, when I officially launched this particular business model, I signed my first 3 paying clients. And I thought, oh, wow, this works. Now, from 2019 to 2021, I had taken some trainings. I had hired a coach for a short period of time, and I had bought some courses. And I said, okay, I see how I could put all this together. I had my expertise down. I knew I could help people. I had been coaching people for free. I'd already had a paying client. I said, I can do this even more. And so I launched the high profit, low volume business model. I started taking on one-on-one clients. And you might be thinking to yourself, well, why would you take on one-on-one clients? Why wouldn't you just continue on with a group? Well, what I had realized is that I didn't have a very big audience. And the way that I was able to start conversations and effectively network online and really pull people into my inbox through the posts that I was having, it wasn't a lot of people, but it was some people. I thought to myself, I'm just good at conversation. So I started to make friends on Facebook, friends on Instagram. And as I was making friends online and having conversations inside of the DMs, I realized it was a lot easier to close people and to sign clients at a higher price point because I didn't have a big audience where I could necessarily get a whole group together. Because remember, so much time had really passed from 2019 to 2021, and I was out here promoting my health and wellness network marketing company, right? So my audience wasn't necessarily looking to create transformational change within themselves through my coaching. And so it was hard to sell, or it was hard to market, but I noticed once I was in conversation, then people were like, well, can you help me? And so I started with high profit, low volume, because I was working full time. So I'm sharing this with you because you're going to see, as I actually wrote out some numbers here so I can give you some insight to how this really worked. This fit my lifestyle because I was working and just crazy hours with paperwork that I had to sometimes do at home. And I thought to myself, there's no way that I could take on big groups. I didn't even have the audience to take on big groups. But I said, I know that there's a way for me to make money. And it was the fastest path because you don't need a lot of people in order to start generating your cash flow. The other thing was, I knew that I wanted to eventually move into groups and courses and things like that. However, I was wanting to refine some of my teachings. I wanted to refine some of my thoughts, but I knew that I can help people get results, but I couldn't necessarily communicate that on social media effectively for people to just see a post and go, I want to work with her. And so it was through working with people one-on-one that I then was able to build a solid foundation of my teachings, a solid foundation of how I'm able to truly help people measure the kind of results that they were getting and get on the spot feedback of what was happening in their world and understanding, okay, how am I going to streamline what I teach, streamline my thought process? What are my methods for helping people? Not just my knowledge, but what kind of tools am I also creating to help people create the results and transformation that I was helping them to get? And so the high profit, low volume model worked because I was able to make money. It worked with my schedule because I took client calls on my early days from work. So, in an outpatient, setting, you've got early days and late days. Some days you're off at 6 and 7, other days you're off at like 3 and 4. And so on the days that I was done early with work, so my Tuesdays and my Thursdays, I would start to take client calls. And so I'm going to break down here the price point. And so let's say you have $2,500 packages that you are selling, and you just sold 2 of those and both people paid in full. You've hit your 5K. Now, you might be thinking, well, okay, it's easy for you to say, how are you just getting 2 people a month to pay you $2,500? It happens. I'm telling you that it absolutely happens. But at the end of the day, it's just math. And along the way, you develop the skill sets and the sales process to demonstrate the value that you help people to get. And as long as you are able to help someone get a result and show the value, and they're willing to pay for that because they need that change, they've been looking for someone like you, they will pay you. So I won't get into the nitty gritty of building your belief or creating the offer or anything like that. I'll create some other videos on that. But just from a mathematical standpoint, 2 people paying you in full $2,500, you sign 2 people a month, you're at 5K. Now, what often happens is people are on payment plans, which I actually love a payment plan because it hits this recurring every single month. And so if you had $2,500 a month package, or not, sorry, not $2,500 a month, $2,500 package. Now you can have somebody on a 3-month payment plan. Let's just say that you're working with somebody for 12 weeks. That's $833 a month times 6 people, times 6 clients is $5K. And so what ends up happening is you start creating $5K months for these 3-month blocks. And so in the meantime, what I was doing was building up my audience, engaging in new conversations, and kind of gearing up my wait list for the next set of people that I was like the next set of 6 that I was going to be working with. And so you can start out at a price point, not that is just like 2,500 because other people are saying that, but at a price point that is the value of what you're providing people, and it's got to match. You can't just start charging people 2,500, 5K, or whatever you want and pick a number out the sky. Things have to be able to match up. The value that you are providing, the transformation that you are providing people and helping people to get has to match. You also have to have a deep level of conviction in your ability to sell at higher price points. Because if you don't have that conviction within yourself to sell, other people don't have the conviction to want to buy from you. And so along the way of you understanding how you think, how you teach, the results that you're providing, you should be building up your belief system as well in your offer, and knowing that you can deeply help someone. That's going to help you transfer that level of confidence, that level of conviction to be able to have somebody buying from you. And so you might wonder, like, well, are we just working with one-on-one clients for forever? Great question. I'm so glad that you asked. No. You can if you want to. And this is where I think it can get a little bit dicey. And by dicey, I mean there are some people that enjoy doing one-on-one work, and then you can hear the industry telling you, don't do that. You're going to bottleneck yourself because you're still trading time for money. Even though it's more money for your time, you're still in this trading time for money. But people are also telling you to scale with a group. Now, this is your business. You get to do whatever you want, right? You always get to do whatever you want. There's just going to be some things that make sense for your lifestyle, where you are, how much you can handle at a time. What is your emotional capacity? What is your physical availability within your calendar to take on people or to run a group, right? So many other nuances, and I will create videos on that. But from this one-on-one foundation, what I was able to do is pick out what components I was going to host within a group. So I have launched group programs. I also have courses that people can now buy from me that become passive. So my one-on-one work has created the frame and the model where I really got into the nitty-gritty of my work, the nitty-gritty of the actual struggles, like the deeper struggles of what it's like to work with somebody, help that person. And then I use that exact information in my one-on-ones to now create better content, solve problems. Hence why I'm creating this YouTube video, because this is a question that people ask. Solve problems through my content that then attracts new people to me. And now I can go off and create courses and groups and masterminds. And you can fill your spaces with more people. You could have a group. You could still do one-on-one. You can eventually create or write books. You can speak on stages. You can do whatever you want. You're building your personal brand, but your teachings are out there. Your message is out there. You're helping people create real results and transformation in their life. But with one-on-one, if you are brand new to coaching, brand new to really understanding your own methods, but you still know you can help someone, it's just not necessarily a refined process. I love the one-on-one model because it gets you in there working with people. Yes, it gets you paid, but it gets you working with people. And make sure that you are always within integrity. Don't take on a client if you don't think you can help them get results. Or you can actually say, hey, you know what? I'll work with you for free. Like, there's so many things that you can offer them, but I always recommend working with at least a beta client, whether it's free or a low paying client. So that way, or a low price point, not a low paying client, a low price point, So that way you can build confidence within the things you're teaching, within the things you're helping someone to do. Always be out of integrity. And I know if you're on this channel, then you are somebody out of integrity. I would hope so. So that is how this starts to work. And so from the one-on-one model, you start to build confidence because it's like you're in there with your people doing the thing. And now from there, you can develop courses. You can understand how they think. So it improves your marketing and it improves your level of communication, not creating content with what you think you want people to know, but content that actually solves a problem because you're working with people. So you know directly what their problems are in their words, not in your words, in their words. So you'll create multiple iterations of your business over time. Never think that the way you get started is the way that it has to be. A lot of the people that you're probably admiring online right now did not start where they are. Nobody did. Everybody started doing something that built a foundation that then allowed them to grow from. Where you start one-on-one, then you can move into group, then you can go into creating, passive courses, and then you can create master classes that are very low entry, free or paid, that people get to experience you, they get to understand you and how you can help them solve a problem. From there, you can create books, you can start a YouTube channel, you can create a podcast, you can be on stages. There's so much, but where are you going to start? You have to have a pathway. You have to have a ramp, a runway, so that you can start taking steps and not necessarily trying to take steps that are at level 6 when you might be still at level 1, 2, or 3. So this was the path that I took. And because of this path, I was able to improve my communication, improve my content, improve my ability to serve, and also hold more people inside of my coaching containers. And so, in terms of how long this took me, and what I mean by how long, how many hours out of my week, when I was having, holding 5 to 6 clients at a time, and I had clients on Tuesdays and Thursdays blocked off right after I was done working. I gave myself an hour to get in the mode, get in the flow. And I took 3 clients on Tuesday, 3 clients on Thursday, and they were back to back, an hour each time. And I was either, depending on kind of what people came to me for, because I was actually coaching on a couple different things, we either had calls every other week. Some people were paying for calls every single week. And I didn't charge per call. I charged per value. I charged per result, and being able to help them create that change. And it wasn't just me giving them knowledge. It was me actually walking them through my own process to be able to create the change that they wanted in their life. So that's how this works. And that is how I got started. And that is how I built my foundation. I now have the groups. I now have a mastermind. I now have a course. There are things that I've created, but it all starts with how confident are you to be able to put yourself out there and become visible online, to start helping people, to start building your personal brand, to start getting your messaging out there and serving the people the way that you genuinely feel called to serve. So whatever or whomever you might be listening to, just understand what's their point of view when they give you that feedback or they give you that advice. It's not that it's wrong or that it's bad. It's just that it may not be for you and where you are in your business specifically. And I think that is the key takeaway here. It's where are you? Evaluate that. Do you already have a big enough audience that you can launch something that's already grouped? Great, go for it. A lot of people don't, and they have either no audience or a small audience. And that's why they end up starting one-on-one, because they can create more personal relationships with people inside of the DMs. And then now they're actually working with clients. They can generate testimonials. And from there, things continue to grow. Things continue to expand. Your content gets better. Your audience starts to grow. But don't just come out here and say, oh, I'm going to create a course because somebody told me they can help me create a course in 7 days. Could you create a course in 7 days? Sure. But have you worked with real people to understand, is the way that your curriculum set up going to help people get the result at the end of that course? And yes, you can put it together quickly, but do you have people to sell it to? There's a lot of people now creating courses but they don't have anybody to sell it to because they were so focused on what they wanted to teach that they never built the audience to be able to sell the course to, or they never had enough buy-in with the audience that they do have as to why that course is going to be helpful to that person. So these are all the nuances to think about. And I'm not here to make it hard. I'm here to give you the real deal because I'm recognizing that so many clinicians are so bombarded with all these things on like, how do I do this? How do I do this? How do I do this? I just want to help you break it down so that you can understand how to best take action for you based on where you are specifically. So I trust that this video serves you. Whatever questions you have, feel free to drop them in the comments and stay tuned for future videos. I'll see you all next time. Bye.